The Ben Simmons soap opera will end at some point, but it could ruin Joel Embiid's career. Embiid will probably have a shorter prime than most people because of his injury history, but this year he's playing like an MVP. Still, Ben refuses to play, with some accusing him of faking a mental illness. Other rumors say he's got to return because he's gonna go broke. Can a guy really blow tens of millions of dollars on luxury homes and cars in 3 years? One thing we do know, Philly will not be bullied into making a bad trade, but this could ruin everyone. Ben losing over $100 million, Embiid not getting an all-star teammate in a trade. There are new rumors every day, but Daryl Morey just gave an interview that explains how this nightmare will finally end. People act like Ben's a bum, but look at his resume. Rookie of the Year, 3-time All-Star, all while refusing to shoot threes. He's kind of been a pain in Embiid's ass forever. They had back-to-back 50-win seasons, but Ben's limitations put a ceiling on their success. Once in a while, Joel Embiid would drop hints, quote, "We've got to start helping each other, even if it means going outside your comfort zone for the greater good to help the team win." Meaning that if you gotta space and shoot it, you gotta do it. Ben would release off-season videos every year, shooting threes no problem, so clearly not a physical issue. The Sixers finally convinced him to see a sports psychologist, but they had to find another way out of this. After botching the Markelle Fultz draft, they traded for Jimmy Butler in 2018. Philly got the #1 seed, but the trade exposed Ben Simmons. Jimmy's got a reputation as being hard to work with, but really he just can't stand people he thinks are soft. A rumor eventually leaked. Jimmy did not see Ben on he and Embiid's level mentally. Brett Brown put the ball in Jimmy's hands in the playoffs, and that hurt Ben's ego so much, he told the front office, "It's either me or him," and they did not re-sign Jimmy Butler. The shooting thing continued to be a problem because of how good Joel Embiid was becoming. He went from 27 points a game to runner-up in MVP to Nikola Jokic. Yes, Embiid can stretch the floor, but he is a god in the paint. That is why Daryl Morey tried to trade Ben right after taking over the front office. In early 2020, James Harden was forcing his way out of Houston. His old GM was so sure the beard was coming to Philly, Ben was told to expect a trade. Pack your bags. And then it didn't happen. The mentally fragile point guard completely broke. During the 2021 playoffs, Ben put up such bad numbers. He shot 34% from the free throw line, the worst in NBA history for a guy taking at least 70 free throws. He refused to shoot in 5 of 7 fourth quarters against the Hawks, but passing up a dunk late in Game 7 was unforgivable. Joel Embiid calling out his teammates, saying Ben's mistake was the turning point in the series. Doc Rivers admitting he's not sure if they can ever win a title with Ben Simmons. Obviously a guy this mentally fragile was gonna demand a trade, but that would be stupid. His trade value was so low, it would be like selling all your Bitcoin in 2017. If you had just held on, you'd be a millionaire. Ben's got 4 years left on his deal. The Sixers don't have to do anything. This is actually a test of how much power NBA players actually have. The first star to ever force a trade was Wilt Chamberlain in 1968. Unrestricted free agency wasn't a thing until 1988, so Wilt had to threaten to retire or switch leagues to the ABA. The Sixers were so desperate to keep him, they offered him the head coaching job. But Wilt's mind was made up and he went to LA. Today, players actually have real leverage. You either trade me now or get nothing when I leave in free agency. Carmelo Anthony had 2 months left on his deal when he left for New York. Kawhi Leonard had 1 year left on his Spurs deal when he demanded a trade. Anthony Davis had a year left in New Orleans. The biggest extreme has been James Harden with 2 seasons left in Houston. Ben Simmons has no leverage. and he's learning it the hard way. When he didn't show up for training camp, the Sixers kept his $8.25 million check. He eventually came to collect, but faked a back injury and claimed to have a mental illness. Still, the Sixers have been docking his paychecks for every missed game, and some reports say he is in trouble financially. Dude bought a $17.5 million mansion in LA. He's got a home near Philly worth $5 million that he can't sell. Same for his over $3 million condo in Philly. He also buys ridiculously expensive cars like a $2 million Porsche. This is how pro athletes go broke. They spend money like they're a billionaire, but when the checks stop coming, they're screwed. Tyrese Maxey was forced into the starting point guard role in his second season. After a rough few games, his development has become one of the best stories for the Sixers. Then a COVID outbreak crushed the team, forcing them to postpone games without enough players. By mid-December, they were barely 500. Daryl Morey, too stubborn to accept a less than all-star for Ben Simmons, and it was killing their season. Then Joel Embiid started playing the best basketball of his life. Since December 16th, he's averaging about 34 points, 10 boards, and 4 assists a night, shooting 41% from deep with elite defense. He told reporters, "Whenever I want, I'm able to be Shaq. And whenever I want, I'm also able to be Dirk or Kobe or MJ or any guards." And he's right. Now Philly is just 2.5 games back of first place, but is not trading Ben, wasting Embiid's prime. The Sixers have gotten offers all season, but none of them include a true all-star. The Blazers restated, Dame is not on the table. There's been no change in Bradley Beal's situation for this year. An article dropped from Shams that makes a Ben Simmons trade sound even more unlikely. With the NBA trade deadline over 2 weeks away, rival teams interested in Ben Simmons believe Daryl Morey has his sights on a bigger target in the summer: Brooklyn Nets star James Harden. Rumors say that Harden is open to a move if the Nets crash and burn. The deal would require a sign and trade because Philly has no cap space, but it could get done. The Sixers also think other big names could be available in the summer. Maybe Beal or Dame's situation changes. Or maybe Morey has inside information. He worked with Harden for almost a decade in Houston, and the two are really tight. Maybe Harden has promised Daryl Morey, if he leaves Brooklyn, he will go to Philly. So, according to reports, the nightmare will probably end at the summer, not at this trade deadline. But there's no telling if a gigantic deal ever gets done. And Harden might not be a great fit. Dude can't even get in shape for Kevin Durant. Why would that change with Joel Embiid? And yeah, he's good at playmaking, but the Sixers also need rebounding and defense. Not Harden's game. Meanwhile, the title is wide open this year. In the East, no one has stood out as a clear favorite. I think the closest is probably the Bucks, but they're in 4th place. In the West, the Suns are unproven, even if they're great. The Warriors were good at first. They're still good, but they have serious issues. Embiid's prime will be short, and with no clear end in sight, this Ben Simmons thing could ruin Embiid's career. But I'm still hoping we do have big trades at the trade deadline. There are rumors coming out every day, but maybe the most exciting, even if it's not super impactful, is Russell Westbrook for John Wall again. The latest rumors just dropped on that, and I just dropped a video breaking it all down. Check it out.